Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. I'm going to let Handsome Lee know that he is down one customer, and then maybe pay a visit to Kindly Chang before we go to the mission computer. Let's see if he has anything to say. The dealer is leaning languidly against a wall in his accustomed spot. His back straightens when he sees you, and he puts on his best smile. I wondered if I'd see you again. Is our friend Stephen's hunger assuaged? You don't have to worry about him bothering you again. He was a customer, not a bother. But if what you say is true, that's perhaps for the best. I was worried about Stephen. I'm here to sell experiences, not contribute to a man's early death. Now, let's get back to business, shall we? What can Handsome Lee do for you today? I'd actually like to talk about you. You said that you came from Taiwan. I want to hear more about that. He pauses for a moment, mulling it over. Finally, he acquiesces with a nod. If you like. We worked together, in a sense. If Stephen hadn't sent you, he'd have sent someone else, and things might have not gone as smoothly. I suppose that I owe you for that. Happy to have helped, Lee. Much obliged. So, where to begin? Handsome Lee's features soften almost imperceptibly. I grew up in a Taipei ghetto not unlike the Redmond Barons. Worked my fingers to the bone to get an education. Yeah? What was your major? I was studying chemistry. I was promised a job by a megacorp. I thought I'd found a way out. But that all vanished overnight with the war. How'd you end up in Hawaii then? Surely your credentials gave you access to other options. I had a fiancé and a widowed sister with 2 young sons. We couldn't stay. I went to the manager who'd wanted to hire me. I begged her to use the megacorp's resources to get us out. But when I made my request, the woman laughed in my face. With the war raging around us, she no longer had a use for me. It wasn't her job to save women and children. She made that abundantly clear. That's cold. Where are your fiancé and your family now? A shadow crosses Handsome Lee's elegant features. We were separated in the chaos. I scoured every rendezvous point that we ever discussed. I left messages. Nothing. I'm sorry, man. I suppose Hong Kong isn't a bad place to hold up and wait for information. His jaw clenches for a second. Finally, he speaks, somewhat bitterly. That's true, but I've long since given up. I respect that you've lived a rough life, yet still know how to hope. Maybe. I'm stubborn that way. Handsome Lee burst into laughter. I like your attitude. His face darkens. I'd wanted to escape. Pretend I hadn't grown up in poverty and squalor. Do you want to know why I chose to live here, in the shadow of the walled city, rather than seek out a more legitimate prosperity? I'm listening. I love the fine things I experienced when I seemed poised to enter the upper echelons of society, but it was all based on lies. And I love chemistry. I'm very good at what I do. Here, I can still use my talents. No one gives a dreck what I wear or how I speak, just so long as I deliver the high. There's something honest and forthright about junkies and their urges. The megacorps, on the other hand, are rotten with hypocrisy. Truer words have never been spoken. No, they have not. Now, let's get back to business, shall we? I have a wide variety of happy experiences for sale. I've got family memories in a pill. They're almost as good as the real thing. More powder for those memories you'd rather forget? Whatever you might need, Handsome Lee is here to help. All right, thank you very much for that story, Lee. Be well. Now let's head into the Mahjong parlor. See if Kindly has any new information, and then we will finally get to that mission computer. Kindly Chang appears to be nearing the end of a harsh exchange with Strangler Bao, who is listening intently.
So, you tell that little pustule that Auntie Chang isn't fracking happy, you get it? Not happy at all. Don't tell him that I'm displeased. Don't tell him that I didn't take it well. She slams her shot glass onto the table. Tell him that I'm extremely chopping mad if he doesn't want what happened to ye to happen to him. He better get his head and his ass wired together and get me that payment. Today. She raises an eyebrow. Was that message clear enough, Mr. Bao?
Yes, Mrs. Chang. I'll explain things to him in terms he can understand. Bao steps back and becomes a meat statue once again. Chang's voice turns trickle sweet when she sees you are waiting for her.
Ah, our newly minted Shadowrunner. How are you taking to your new role, Shan?
So far, so good.
I had no doubt, my sweet. I have a nose for talent. And how is Mr. Gunshow doing with his new life?
He's doing just fine, Auntie.
Very good, my dear. Very good. She smiles. Was there something specific you came to see me about?
Just checking in, Auntie. It pays to stay in touch.
I agree, yes. Personal contact gets results. I have some good news for you. One of my people successfully planted a wiretap on the police's special duties unit. If news of your foster father or the plastic-faced man reaches them, it will reach me as well. So far, your foster father has proven a difficult man to find, and the plastic-faced man is elusive. He's clearly someone who knows how to stay out of the public eye. But I have my network running day and night, and I still have some favors that I can call in if need be. We'll find them both. It's only a matter of time. Until then, go about your business, and I'm sure that more work will come your way any moment.
She glances back at Bao.
Now I have some pressing business to attend to, the kind that ends in parentless children. I'll talk to you later.
Well, it doesn't look like we're on that job, fortunately. So I think that is everything. Let's just walk down here just to make sure there's no one new. Nope. Alrighty. Let us head to the boat and check out the mission computer. And get our payment, finally. Where to... There we are. Now, should we go talk? Claim payment. Optional, get some rest. Ah, I see. Alright, payment first, then rest. Your workstation and mission computer, indeed. In the upper right corner, I have 4 unread messages. Holy crap. Vid, about those dreams. Gobbet's face winks onto the screen. Her rats are perched precariously on her head, and she holds a laser pointer clutched between her thumb and forefinger. Oh, hey, Seattle. I hope that I didn't catch you at a bad time. She flicks the laser pointer, and her rat's head swivel to the right to follow the motion. Why did I just say that? This is recording. It doesn't matter if it's a bad time. Well, anyway, I was thinking about that talk that we had. You know, the dream talk about the nightmares and stuff? Another flick of a pointer and the rat's head turns left, their noses twitching. I've got a friend here in town. She runs the Parlor of 5 Phases. It's sort of a local magic shop and talismonger. Name's Crafty. Flick. The rat's head turns upward to stare at the ceiling. Anyway, she's smart. Really smart. Her mom was sort of a local authority on all things magical, and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If you want to ask anyone in town about these dreams, she'd be the right one to choose. She taps a button on the laser pointer with her thumb, and the little red dot in the tip goes dark. The rats immediately tackle one another, rolling off her head and falling out of sight. She gets up, her head rising out of frame. Anyway, just thought it might help. If you've already been talking to Crafty, please disregard this message. Alright, I'm out. Peace. She punches a button and the screen goes dark. That's nice of her letting us know, of course. Attending a party. From Kindly Chang. Shan, I need you to come to the parlor. A friend and business partner of mine named Dr. Shen Yang has need of your services. Something about attending a fancy party in Repulse Bay. He was unwilling to give me the details. I think he wanted to size you up himself. Raymond Black's history from Isobel. Duncan asked me to do some digging on my own into Raymond's history. I guess he doesn't trust Kindly Chang to give him the full story. Can't say I blame him, since she'd hide things from us if it was in her best interest to do so. I've been poking around various corners of the Matrix, trying to dig up what I can. Most sinners leave a data trail the size of an aircraft carrier in their wake. Working backward in time, Raymond starts out that way, but it slowly tapers away into nothingness. Sure, I can find some basic records in Seattle, power, utilities, a couple of public discussion sites he signed up for, but the further back I get, the less I find. And the craziest part is this. Prior to 2032, I can't find anything at all, and that shouldn't be possible. It's like Raymond didn't exist before then. I don't know. I'm going to keep digging, but it'll take me a while. I'll let you know when I get some news worth sharing. Opportunity. Preface bypassed. Yo, come see me if you have a chance. I have a trade opportunity. Maximum. Ooh. Alrighty. Interesting. Now, let's open the jobs directory. Do we still have... Yes, we do. Excellent. Now, let's access the Shadowland BBS and claim payment for sold data for the exotic animal dealer contacts. Huzzah! 270, every little bit counts. Now, any relevant keywords? Posy, Bash, Top Shelf, Sublet, available immediately, looking for Decker. Let's see if there's anything here. I know a lot of you are interested in that 50,000 new yen the HKPF is promising in connection with the terrorist cell they're hunting, so I began digging around for some better information. Think I've got some stuff of value. Turns out they had a handler here in Hong Kong by the name of Raymond Black. The HKPF tried to take him into custody the day before, but were forced to kill him in a shootout. Looks like Black and the terrorist are members of the White Star group out of Henan. Isn't White Star all about restoring Imperial China? One of those terrorists they killed was obviously North American. Why would she be helping a pro-imperialist group? You got money? She can buy any kind of person you need. You're on Shadowlands, Ome. You should know that. So what do we know about Black and his band of thugs? Anything we can use to track them down? That's not good. The data I've been able to dig up says that Black was from Henan and was distantly related to the royal family. He spent a couple of decades in Seattle making connections in the shadows in preparation for an attack on the Free Enterprise Zone. I've attached some dossiers on his remaining agents. Oh. You sift through a long stream of data detailing who you and Duncan are. While the general details about your name and life are correct, many of the small details are wildly inaccurate. You're listed as having lived in Laos for the past 4 years, while Duncan is noted as having spent most of his life in prison. You move on to peruse Gobbet and Isobel's biographies. The dossier lists Gobbet's real name as Yuchun Gui, and her place of birth is Jian Shanji. According to the content, she's 23 years old and served with the Baihu corporate military until conviction for insubordination led her to a dishonorable discharge. While you can't be certain Gobbet doesn't speak Mandarin, the idea of her being in the military, any military, is downright laughable. Guess we'll have to ask her about that. Isobel, in turn, is listed as Fatima Abukar. Apparently, Isobel was educated at an early age in terrorism and piracy by the revolutionaries of the Ethio-Malian territories and is wanted in connection with the bombing 2052 bomb attack on the French embassy in Johannesburg. Given that you know Isobel grew up here in Hong Kong, this information appears to be laughably inaccurate as your own dossier. No more post in this thread. Huh. Posy Bash. Alright folks, we're going to try it again. This time under a super secret code name. There's no telling how long this will last, so let the bashing begin. Oh lord, he's going for the poetry bash again. Super secret code name? You just ran the words poetry slam through a thesaurus. Poetry, people, not complaints. A thief on the run, a silencer in the dark, the rot shaman lurks. Got one for the coyote shamans, too. An unbound trickster, the shaman fears no peril, wily coyote. On a roll, Jivey. Pulses of... Oh, here's another one, if Mad can stand it. Pulses of light glance off bright chrome. Translucent spheres encase my treasure. Mirrors and tubes and neon implode. Another day in the Matrix. Hey, I can do traditional. I happen to prefer the haiku, because less typing. Gossamer tresses, infinity in your gaze, very pointy ears. Extra points for using gossamer correctly in a sentence. Thank you, Matrix Bard. I like elves. Jivebird is still the master of the haiku. In fact... Oh, graveyard creeper, ashen skin, spindly fingers, and claws freak me out. Oh, here comes the system op. Alright, Shakespeare's. This is strike 2. This thread is getting locked and you aren't doing this again. Got me? This board is for deckers who want to talk shop. There are plenty of other forums that you can use for your stupid amateur poetry. I suggest that you go find one. Top shelf sublet, available immediately. Like the title says, good location, cheap rent, serious offers only, please. Harbor Rat. What do you mean by top shelf? As in fancy corp condo? How'd you manage that? Nah, man, it's literally the top shelf of a converted maintenance closet I live in. You're joking. No joke! It's cheap and the location's good, right near the Temple St. Night Market, and has super fast access just in case you need to get in and out of the Matrix quick. I'm not the sort to ask questions. There's just about enough space to stretch out your legs lying down, and there's a ceiling hook for your gear. What do you say? I don't know. I need a place, but still, that reeks of desperation. A shelf in a shared closet? Screw that. I've got a sweet pad to rent that you can have all to yourself. It's not Victoria Peak or anything, but it's a bargain. Where's it at? Kowloon Walled City. It's one of the new construction units on the outer edge. Ew. I'll throw in a second ceiling hook. Deal? Good job, Harbor Rat. Sweeten that pot. Okay, message me and we'll work out the nitty-gritty. Seriously? The Walled City isn't that bad. My apartment is huge and it even has windows. I'll beat Harbor Rat's rent. In fact, just tell me what you want to pay. Hello? No one wants to live in the Walled City. Looking for Decker. Looking for experienced deckers for a discreet milk run on a supply house for purveyors of recreational substances. Potential for a longer-term arrangement. We're a team that's been together for years, running your basic heists and the occasional transport gig. We've got a reliable fixer and a long list of happy clients. Requirement, you must have a good sense of humor. Give me some new yen 888. Hey, are you willing to give a newbie a shot? I've been in and out of the Matrix since I was in school. I raised some creds doing odd jobs, so I've got a hot new cyber deck that I'm itching to try on a real run. I don't know, man. We'd really like to find a long-term decker, and you kinda don't know Drek. You said so yourself. Sorry. Aw, come on, you said it was a milk run? How else would a Shadowrunner start if not with an easy gig? I'm being upfront with you. Doesn't that count for something? Fine. I got a test for you. You hack this guy, Captain Scone, and change his password to erotic massage. I'm on it. Thanks. Done. Am I in or what? Say yes, say yes. What the... Amazoon, may I introduce you to our rigger, Captain Scone? He'll make a fine addition to our team. Thank you, you won't regret this. You gotta stop getting people to hack me, Gimme, or you'll be looking for a new rigger next. Aw, you know that you love me. Yeah, definitely a sense of humor. Okay, do we have any more pay data for sale? Nope. Okay. So now let's open the jobs directory, claim payment for Wampoan Garden murders. You submit the job as finished and await the response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. The Wampoans tell me that you've ousted all their council of elders, something to do with you exposing their efforts to cover up their own mess. It isn't the resolution I expected, but I think it's acceptable. 1,400. If there's one thing I don't trust, it's people who won't pay what they owe. Thankfully, the Wampoans are more reliable than Ning and her allies, and so am I. Your payment is attached. Good deal. Now, all pending jobs. Attend a party, geomantic sabotage, artifact liberation. Let's go ahead and take up artifact liberation. We haven't done that one yet. And... yeah. I think we can go ahead and give that a shot. And that's the book that he wrote. Nice simple robbery. Yep, I think I can do that. We will take the run. Excellent, I've attached directions to lose a state on this message. Good luck, don't frack it up. Indeed. Okay, we want to do one job at a time here, I'm thinking. So we will walk away, go to the Emperor's Tomb. I definitely need to get some sack time. And we also have to meet Kindly Chang's friend. But let's see what the rest of the crew's doing. Hello there, Gunshow. You enter Wu's cabin to find him moving through some sort of stretching routine. His muscles ripple as he flows tranquilly from one pose to the next. You look different, Caleb. Do I? Yeah, like I flipped forward a few chapters instead of turning a page. I mean, you look like you, just not the you I knew. Sounds like song lyrics. Wu chuckles. No more song lyrics for me. I gave up that dream a long time ago. Remember how Lockjaw used to make fun of my singing voice? He smiles. His teeth are perfect. He said I sounded like a frog with a heart on. He shrugs. I thought my voice was distinctive. I mean, I'm no Maria Mercurial, but... So, what about you? And gives you a once-over. How are you doing? About how'd you expect. Been better. Well, I gotta tell you, you're good at running this crew, Caleb, but there's one thing I still don't completely understand. He picks up an ammo box and begins using it like a dumbbell. What do you get out of being a Shadowrunner? Well, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Carter said that an unexamined life isn't worth living. He smirks. Well, whatever you get out of it, I doubt the trade-off's worth a shorter lifespan. And at the end of the day, what are you? A Shadowrunner, a disposable asset, sinless, slithering through the cracks of society, doing jobs that are too dirty for the corpse to do themselves. You don't even appear on a corporate balance sheet. Well, I call my own shots, take the jobs I want. From the Chinese menu that kindly Chang puts up in front of us, yeah. And we can leave anytime we want, right? He gives you a lopsided grin. Forget it. Doesn't matter. It's about finding out what happened to Raymond. Wu watches you, waiting for you to say something. You thinking about getting chromed up? With cyber? He shakes his head. Oh my god, how many times are you going to ask me that? Until you give me a satisfying answer. Wu grins. His teeth are blindingly white. I told you one time. I was thinking about it when I was 13. Let it go. I'm not going to pollute my body with that dreck. You? Heh. Wu, look at me. I've got the magic in my hands. Of course I won't get cybered. Yeah, I guess you got a point there. That's a good thing, by the way. Better keep yourself whole and in touch with the world around you. I may not have magic, but I know that's true. I want to talk about you and me. Maybe that was just like a bad prison tattoo, his cybernetic arms. He rests his eyes on you for a moment, his face neutral. Yeah, I guess now's as good a time as any. You start. You're not acting like the Duncan Wu that I grew up with. What made you decide to become a cop? I needed structure. Bad. You know that better than anyone. I was already hardcore when we met, Mr. Ultraviolence. I'd do anything to get a rise out of guys I was rolling with. Gouging eyes, inverting knees, curb stomping. That dreck got me cheers. It was like a pit fighter, bloodletting for the crowd. And I learned to enjoy it. But I never learned how to block out the memories of their screams when I was lying in bed at night. And the guilt started eating me alive. And then I was scared to be alone with my thoughts. So I tried to drown them out with all the things that you drown things out with. How bad was it? He lowers his head sadly. Pretty nasty. But that was before we met. We squatted together, and later when we were living with Ray, I was still a violent SOB, but basically under control. That was because of you, Shan. You were the voice of reason. And the brains. Me? The brains? Don't pretend you weren't the leader. You know how it was. When we ran the streets together, I was the muscle and you called the shots. You pointed and I hit. But I hit too. But later, after Ray got me some counseling, I realized I let you call the shots so that I wouldn't have to. Because I knew that what I wanted was wrong. By following your lead, I was deflecting my own guilt onto you. I could just knock heads and walk away clean. You know, don't look at me. I'm just doing what I'm told. And then you left. Without you there, I knew I was in serious trouble. The poster boy for anger management issues. Raymond could provide a stable environment, a decent therapist, and money for prescriptions, but you know Raymond. He's an egghead engineer with a philanthropic streak, not a drill sergeant, and a drill sergeant is what I needed. I needed structure and discipline in a way that he couldn't offer me. I needed a cage to keep myself in line. So I found myself a cage made of rules and procedures and training. Lone Star. Raymond helped me with my application and provided a decent character reference. I got in, and it helped a lot. Lone Star got me where I needed to be. Now it's all gone, and you're back. Seems like Carter's death hit you pretty hard. Wu continues stretching. Yeah, she was a good one. We were a real team. Joining Lone Star helped me in all sorts of important ways, no doubt about it. I really embraced being a cop. I studied my ass off, but no matter how hard I worked, I was never more than a model cop with a brutal streak. There were plenty of assignments that were perfect for a big, mean orc like me. Assignments that could have fed my need to hurt people, but I met Carter about a year in, and she changed things. She talked about values and goals and priorities and constructing the life that you wanted to live. She was a real trip. She sounds wise. He pauses his stretching for a moment. Huh. Never thought about that word as a way to describe her. Wise. From an outside perspective, I guess you'd say that, but to me she was just grounded. She knew who she was, where she was, where she was going, and what got her there. Carter understood how the world worked but compartmentalized it so she could focus on making a life for herself that made sense. She kept me focused. When Raymond asked me to meet him in Hong Kong, I had a feeling I was going to wind up going off the reservation if I didn't bring Carter along. And now she's gone, and here I am. Oh, so he feels a ton of guilt about that. Well, I say that you honor her memory by showing her how much you've learned. Wu's mouth drops open and then curves into a grin. He shakes his head, still smiling. I'm sorry, did Caleb Shan just give me sage advice? Sounds like you did some growing up on your own. You've been waiting a long time to ask me about the night I left, haven't you? Wu chuckles and hooks his thumbs in his belt. I guess I have, yeah. It's about what you were doing before you got thrown into that corp facility. You said that you had a friend who was in a bind, but that was all you could say. How'd it go? Let's just say we're not friends anymore and leave it at that. Whatever you say, Caleb. Do you ever think about when we were kids? He begins moving through some sort of pattern. Might be Tai Chi. I try not to. What are you talking about exactly? The old gang. Lockjaw, Double Tray, those guys. You realize that old gang you're talking about when we were teenagers, right? Younger than Gobbet. Man, they felt so old back then. But Lockjaw couldn't have been more than 17, tops. And Double Tray? Double Tray was only 13 when... Wu stops moving, drifts off for a moment. Why are you thinking of them? Just thinking about that thing DT used to say. Wu returns to his patterns. He manipulates an imaginary soap bubble between his hands. Improvise, adapt, overcome. That's how you beat the street. I remember Double Tray saying that. It was a while we were living between the red-hot nukes and the 162s. Crazy-ass dwarf anarchist on one side and flesh-eating ghouls on the other. Those are the days that you long for? Long for? No. I was just thinking that it's the same now as it was back then. His raspy baritone fills the space between you and bridges it. Survive and watch each other's backs. Yeah, I know. So what'd you think about that last run? Don't ask me. You didn't take... Whoops. Sorry about that, Duncan. Yeah, later would be good. Don't get me wrong, catching up is nice, but I'm not used to being as social as this. It's one of the reasons why it was so nice to work under Carter. We both appreciated long silences. Sorry, man. She seemed like good people. It's all good. She's gone, and I've accepted that. I guess it's just been a big day is all. Anyway, good talk. I'll catch up with you later. I completely forgot that we did not take Wu along with us. My bad. For the rest of this episode, we're going to talk to the rest of the crew before we go on to any new jobs. Just get it out of the way. Isobel is jacked into the octopus. Her body sits inert, her breathing shallow. As you approach, an image blossoms onto the largest of the octopus's view screens. Hello down there. It's good to see you again. She smiles down on you from the monitor, her outline scintillating with blue-white light. She looks peaceful, at ease. Nice avatar. That's a good look on you. Isn't it? I've spent months customizing this avatar. She feels more real to me than my own skin. You feel really at home in the Matrix, don't you? You look happy in there. I suppose that I am. It's a comfort thing. As long as I'm jacked in, I can be whoever I want to be. Whatever I want to be. Out there in meat space, I usually feel uncomfortable in my own skin. The avatar offers you a lopsided smile. I'd probably just live in here if I could. I've heard about Deckers who've tried it. Never turned out well. Dehydration is a bad way to go. I know. And of course I was joking, but truth be told, I do spend most of my time out there wishing I were back in here. If you were a Decker, you'd feel the same. It's hard to live in a cage of meat when you know how sweet it is to leave your body behind, or it feels to leave your body behind. She sounds like Mandela from Techno Babylon. She pauses for a moment, considering. Then her avatar shimmers forward, filling the screen. A slight frown crosses her face. You know, Shan, I've been thinking about the question you asked me a little while back. The one about the walled city. The avatar fidgets. The one that I dodged. I remember. Look, I wasn't trying to cheat you out of your answer. I want you to know that. It's just that talking about the walled city is problematic for me. I understand. I hate telling people I understand, because you really don't. Things are hard, I get it. But this is important, Ys. Please don't call me that. I let Gobbet get away with it because we go way back, but I've never liked it. She sighs. And no, you don't get it. The problem isn't that I'm tortured by bad memories or anything like that. The truth of the matter is, I can't remember my childhood. The walled city, that entire chapter of my life, is nothing but a blur to me. I can give you general information about life on the inside, but the specifics of my own experience are gone. What do you mean, gone? Do you have amnesia or something? Something like that. The avatar fidgets on the screen. There were a variety of factors in play. The upshot of all this is that there are things that I can tell you about, but only a few, and only in bold strokes. Don't expect any personal stories. I couldn't share them, even if I wanted to. So if that's okay with you, if you'll be satisfied with trivia and urban legends, then we can talk. Just say the word. Otherwise, well, at least now you know why. So how did you lose your childhood memories? The Isobel avatar frowns. I'd rather not go into it. It's personal. Suffice to say that I've never missed them, at least not until now. Well, if you ever want to talk about it, I'm a good listener. She looks away. Great, I'll keep that in mind. So give me what you can about the walled city. At this point, anything will help. Alright. The avatar licks its lips and nods. I can do that. Isobel's avatar turns, begins to pace on the screen. Where she steps, spiderwebs of light spread across the tiled ground of the octopus's sculpted matrix hub. When I think of the walled city, the thing that stands out the most in my mind is the legends, the mythology of the place. If I hadn't lived with them, I might have found those stories fascinating. The scintillating figure turns to you on the screen. Did you know that Kowloon Walled City is supposed to be cursed? That's what the locals believe. We had ghost stories and everything. Ghost stories? The Isobel avatar nods. Our own homegrown legend about things that haunted the walled city. Demons from another place. The Yama Kings. Tell me whatever you can about them. It'd probably be easiest to think of them like urban legends. Our own little pantheon of monsters and morality tales to frighten ourselves with at night. The stories are still clear in my mind, even after everything that happened. Everyone in the walled city believed them. You can get out of the walled city if you make a deal with Fu Mang. Cut the hearts from the 44 people closest to you and bring them to him. He will reward you with riches. Don't go under that arc, or Quinn Ya will catch you. The avatar grabs at the air, its hands leaving glowing trails as they move. She'll rip out your teeth, tie your tongue in a knot, and make you her slave for eternity. We had Xiang, our own homegrown judge of souls. People who let themselves be flayed alive in hopes that he'd reawaken them in a better life. And we had Lam Vai, the Ebony Queen, who teach you to hide so well that you'd slowly mutate into a cockroach. The avatar cocks its head, smirking, a dismissive gesture. It's all Drek, of course, but everybody in the walled city believed it. I wouldn't write the stories off so easily. Magic is real, Iso. Of course it is. I know that, but the Yama Kings can't be real. If they were, the body count in the walled city would be a lot higher. The Yama Kings are glorified kid stories. They're make-believe. A fiction that my parents and neighbors invented to excuse their own actions. I can get ahead because demons are keeping me down. Woe is me, woe is me. It's almost embarrassingly transparent when you really look at it. Lam Vai turning people into cockroaches. It's just a trope layered on a morality tale. Xiang, he's just Anubis with a different coat of paint. You know that archway that I mentioned? The one that Quid Ya was supposed to haunt? I knew someone who found it. There's nothing on the other side but concrete. It's all superstitious drivel, Shan. Misery in the walled city isn't the fault of demons or devils. We created it, and we perpetuate it. We blame made-up monsters for our own failings. There's nothing more pathetic than that. What about the shared dreams? How do you explain those away? I don't know. Mass psychosis, or maybe something magical is going on. But it isn't them. They aren't real. They can't be. Anyway, that's enough for now, huh? I'm sure that gives you plenty to chew on. My obligation to give you an answer is satisfied, I think, so let's talk about something else. Can you think of anything else at all that might help? I don't know. Maybe. I'll put some thought into it. The avatar pauses and turns away. After a moment, Isobel's voice pours through the Tridio speakers. On second thought, maybe I do have an idea. Are you open to taking on more work? Oh. Of course, kindly sending me new job offers all the time. That wouldn't be work for Auntie Chang. Think of it as a side gig that you'd be doing for me. I think I've got a line on some software that could help us. I can't get it on my own, though. It's a two-person job at least. What kind of software? It's kind of hard to explain. It'd be easier for me just to show you, but trust me, it'll help. I have the run all planned out already. I've done the legwork. I know the location. I know the target. Just say the word and I'll send everything I have to your mission computer. You can look it over, weigh it, decide what you want to do. Alright, deal. Send the file. Nice. Side job. The Isobel avatar closes its eyes for a moment, then opens them with a smile. Done. You'll find the pertinent documents waiting in your inbox. If you decide to accept the mission, just check the box in the message documentation and it'll ping my comm link automatically. Alright, can't wait to find out what this is all about. I'm sure that the briefing I send you will satisfy your curiosity. Trust me, Shan. This is a good job with a solid plan behind it. You'll see as soon as you've read it. And speaking of which, you should go do that now. When I get around to it, I will. Alright, but don't keep me waiting too long. Now, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? How about you have thoughts on that last run, since we did that thing with Wu accidentally? She shakes her head. No, sorry. Jacking to the octopus is how I relax after a long day of work. Some people go to sports bars or strip clubs. I do this. As a rule, I don't spoil my leisure time with shop talk. But we're already talking shop, aren't we? There's a difference between the job and our lives. It's after hours, and I don't want to talk about work. So if you wouldn't mind changing the subject. She lets the sentence hang. Gotcha. Well, that's Iso. And here's Gobbet, who was giving us that information about Crafty. Gobbet looks up from a dented tin of oysters at the sound of your approach. Her rats, Madness and Folly, scurry from her hips up to her shoulders. Two sets of beady red eyes fix themselves on you. Hey, Seattle. Oyster? She spears a gray lump of seafood with a fingernail and extends it to you. It smells like low tide at a municipal pier. Sure, why not? As someone told me in the comments, I am a troll. You pop the rubbery wad of flesh into your mouth and chew. An explosion of lukewarm brine is your reward. Good, right? Half-repressed memories of dumpster diving and the Barons dance a merry jig in your brain as the mangled oyster slides down your throat. Yeah, delicious. I wouldn't go that far, but it's seafood and isn't made of soy. That makes it good in my book. She tilts back the tin and drains the remaining juice and then flicks it into the overflowing bin at her side. So, what do you need? How do you like life here in the bolt hole? It's fine. Shaping up. Having new roommates is always nice. She smiles. How are you enjoying your cabin? Comfy enough for you? Well, it isn't half bad. Better than some of the places I squatted in back in the Barrens. I've heard stories about the Redmond Barrens. Sounds like a real winner of a place. Kowloon isn't any better, of course, but at least our little slice of home is safe. I'll take the bolt hole over the Barrens any day. That's the spirit. A lazy smile spreads across her face as her fingertips brush Madness's back. The rat squeals and darts back into the safe haven of Gobbet's hair. You said that you teach me how to be a better Shadowrunner. I'm here to collect. You still remember that, do you? I'm just sort of amused that you'd laugh that off. No dice, wizened mentor. You offered. Now pay up. She straightens. Okay. How about this? I'll tell you a story about a run gone bad. You tell me what you've done in the runner's place, and then we'll compare notes on your answer. How does that sound? Works for me, I guess. She sweeps a tangled rope of hair out of her eyes and back over one pointed ear. After a moment of silent contemplation, she bites her lip and nods. Okay, so this is a story from early in my career. I was part of a team here in HK, but I did some occasional moonlighting for another group based out of Macau. I was a busy kid. Go on. The job was a hit on this tower, sort of a trid multiplex / apartment complex. I'm sure they've got them in Seattle too. You know the kind. 7 huge screens, monster concession stand, coffin apartments on top like barnacles on a whale. I used to go to one back in Seattle. Best way to watch urban brawl. She nods. Good. You know what I'm talking about then. Our client wanted us to break into one of the apartments. The story was that an ex of hers, a guy named Boggs, lived there. She'd been cooped up with him until about a week prior, and things went sour in a big way. She wanted us to get back some things that Boggs kept when he kicked her out. Scare the dreck out of him, bloody him up a bit, make it look like a robbery. You know the drill. It was a standard smash and grab then? Yeah, it was a pretty bush league gig, but the pay was decent enough. Not the sort of thing you turn down. So anyway, Sibilance, that was our group leader, or Sibilance, yeah, had a plan. We knew that we had to go in quiet because the Metroplex had a panic system wired directly to the HKPF. If we'd gone in shooting, we'd been drowning in cops within 10 minutes. Sib thought that we could maybe take advantage of the apartment's terrible soundproofing and kick in Boggs' door when the movie got loud. We camp out near his doorway, wait for the ceiling to start raining plaster, and smash our way in with his neighbors none the wiser. Alright. Doesn't sound like a bad plan. Well, it had the virtue of being simple, I'll give it that, but still, it didn't stop things from going the way they did. So we waited in the hall, just like Sib wanted. We had a guy on the elevator, another at the stairs. I was waiting by the floor's communal kitchen. Sib took up a position by the door. She had these cyber legs that she dumped a ton of new yen into. Hydraulic jacks, strength enhancements, the works. Girl could probably leg press a dump truck. She pauses for a moment. Come to think of it, most of her plans involved kicking things. There's something a little sad about that. Focus. Right, the story, right. So we heard a boom from downstairs, felt the walls shake with the reverb. Sib wheeled back and gave the door a massive kick, just as she planned. From where I was standing, I couldn't really see what happened next. I could hear a massive crack as her boot slammed into Duraplast. The door flew off its hinges. Exploded off might be a more accurate phrase. A second later, we heard an ungodly crash. There was a moment of silence, and then Sib let out this little gasp. The apartment was in shambles. It looked like a hurricane had hit it. Everything was trashed. Everything but the door, which was miraculously still in one piece. Remember that there was a coffin apartment. It wasn't much wider than the door was to begin with. And Boggs, well, What was left of him was under the door, too. Oh no. Yeah, it wasn't good. Boggs was dead, and the stuff that we'd been sent there to recover had been smashed to bits, and then the building alarm went off. So, that's the situation. Our payday is smashed, my temporary teammates are all standing around with stupid looks on their faces, the cops are coming, and I'm standing by the kitchen. She plants her hands on her hips, smiling. What would you have done in my place? Well... I'd have tried to improvise. Was there anything in the kitchen you could use to resolve the situation? Good thinking. As it happens, there was, and I knew just what to do with it. The thought popped into my head, and I just went with it. She taps her temple with a smile. There's a lesson to remember, Seattle. The first answer that you come up with is almost always the best one you're going to have, so just roll with it. Don't second guess yourself. Don't hesitate. Just act. You'll live longer that way. Got it. Now, when I think crowded theater, I think place where you can't shout fire because it'll cause a panic. And then I thought, cops don't charge into burning buildings. They help people get out of them. And as it happens, I had the means to create real, genuine fire sitting right across from me. A pair of industrial ovens. You set the building on fire? I encouraged it to burn. Opened the gas vents wide, set the range on a timer, and motored back from the hallway. The others had started arguing amongst themselves. I told them to snap out of it and follow me down into the lobby. We had to clear the hallway before an errant spark took the whole floor out. Unfortunately, the rest of the group wouldn't listen. Sib and the rest of the team were too busy arguing about the relative merits of her let's kick things really hard and see what happens tactical system to want anything to do with me. I shouted back to them that the kitchen was going to explode and continue down the hallway. Just like I'd planned, I got out of that run in one piece. So did every single one of the people in that multiplex. My fire plan worked beautifully. If the rest of the team had listened to me, they might have gotten out of the building too. Kind of a bummer that they didn't, but at least the run turned out well for me. How? Well, I couldn't collect any pay because the run had been a disaster, but after the explosion I got to ride in front of the fire truck and they gave me cookies and a blanket. I wound up dating one of those firemen a few weeks later. All things considered, could have gone a lot worse. Man, she is all about the silver lining, isn't she? Gobbet claps her hands together and rubs them, a satisfied look on her face. So, Seattle. The laughter disappears from her voice and her expression goes serious. It's like somebody flipped a switch. Suddenly, the look in her eyes is shrewd, calculating. Tell me, what was the moral of this story? What lesson was I trying to convey? Don't go on Shadowruns with idiots? Ha, funny guy. She frowns. While that is a lesson, maybe an invaluable one, it isn't what I was trying to convey. Now pay attention because this is important. What I was trying to teach you is that you should trust your impulses. When a run has gone south and you need to improvise, don't overthink it. She scratches Folly behind the ears. Once you've committed to do something, you've got to follow it through, though. No arguing or hand-wringing, just do it. If you get caught up in your own head agonizing over past mistakes, well, don't be surprised if you wind up dead. A kitchen fire can take you down as easily as a cop's bullet if you stand around and let it. Are you certain that Sib and the rest of the team are dead? She shrugs. They weren't with me when I got evacuated with the rest of the moviegoers. I never saw them leave the building, and I haven't heard from them since. I guess it's possible that somebody made it, but I don't really run in those circles anymore. Odds are good that if anyone from Macau team did survive, they'll have died off by now from sheer incompetence. Shadowrunning is an unforgiving business. You don't get to make too many mistakes. Did any of the stuff in that story actually happen, or did you just make it up for my benefit? Seattle, I'm hurt. It all went down exactly like I said it did. She pauses. Well, except for a couple of embellishments here and there, but they make it a better story. Artistic license and all that. Gobbet leans back and stifles a yawn. Madness and Dolly dart up her left shoulder and lock their beady eyes on you. Hate to break it to you, kiddo, but I'm beat. It's been a long day. Lesson's over for now. We'll pick it back up next time. Watch who you're calling kiddo. I'm older than you are. Yeah, whatever. She makes a brushing motion with her fingers. Scurry along now. Your mentor needs rest. Oh, I can't talk to her anymore? Ah, okay. I was going to ask her some questions on how she thought the run went. But I think that's going to do it, guys. Like, these are some long dialogue options, and thank you guys for sticking with it. It's already opening up some other avenues, but I think in the next episode, like, there's Ractor. So does that mean that Gaichu's in here? Indeed. Cool. Alright, so in the next episode, we will talk to Ractor and Gaichu, and then go ahead and get the ball rolling on this, the Emperor's Tomb Museum. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you liked the episode, go ahead and click like down below, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help, and we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.